I've got 12 really good clones that are inexpensive of 12 awesome, much more expensive fragrances. So I hope you are ready for this video. I think you might be able to find some in here that you might want to pick up. Right before we dive in though, I want to ask you to consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't done that yet. Also give the video a like and let me know in the comments, what would you add to this list of good clones that are cheap as compared to their awesome expensive counterparts. Okay, here we go. This one is very, very similar to Invictus Aqua 2016. It's even got, of course, some real similarities to the original Invictus, but that ozonic aquatic vibe is amped up. You know, you can call it a clone of Invictus Aqua 2016, but it came out at the same time, so who knows who's cloning who. You know by now I'm talking about Risasi Hawass. This is a gorgeous, as I said, fresh, aquatic, aromatic, kind of ozonic, bubblegum sweet fragrance. It's very cool. It's really an all year long fragrance. It's got good performance. It projects very well for the first hour or two. Like, you know, you'll fill a car in a second with this stuff. I've experienced that. And it performs pretty good as well. I don't get 12 or 14 hours like some people do, but I get easily 8 hours with this stuff. And I think the more familiar I've gotten with it, the more I pick up on the aromatic qualities of this. A little bit of spice. Really love that. And man, this is just a great fragrance. You can get it for about 40 bucks, worth every penny. It is an excellent year-round, so many situations that it's appropriate for. Love that one. The next one, this one is, I guess, technically a clone of the original Allure Homme, Chanel Allure Homme, but it's significantly spicier and sweeter in the first hour or two. I'm talking about one maybe you haven't heard of before. It's Perry Ellis M. It's this very interesting, quite sweet, spicy fragrance. There's tonka bean, there's vanilla, but there's also cinnamon and star anise and like pine tar or some sort of like a piney kind of a scent profile. When you first spray it on, it's just sweet and spicy for like the first couple hours. I wore this yesterday. Number one, I was very impressed that it lasted like 7-8 hours, even though it was a skin scent, you know, 5-6 hours in. But it lasted till I washed it off. But second of all, it changed quite a bit. This is a super cheapie. This is like a $15 fragrance, but it starts out this very sort of sweet, spicy, you know, very strong fragrance. But then it fades into that more lightly sweet, aromatic, slightly spicy fragrance that Chanel Allure Homme is, the original. So, really cool pickup, but you've got to like sweet and spicy, tonka bean and warm spice in your face, and then it changes and becomes very, very similar to Chanel Allure Homme. Okay, this next one, this is a clone that apparently was out a few years ago. It disappeared, and now it's back, and you can get it for less than $35. And it's a really good clone of an expensive Viktor & Rolf fragrance. This is a clone of Spice Bomb Extreme, and they did a really good job with this one. It's Fragrance World Eau de Spice Extreme by Mark and Victor. You can kind of see what they're going for there. And man, this one is really good. It's not one-to-one with Spice Bomb Extreme. There's a little different kind of sweetness in the opening. It's almost like a little bit more of like a fruity sweetness in the opening, just a little bit. And the vanilla is a little more forward. But once it settles down a little, and especially in the air, it's almost indistinguishable from Spice Bomb Extreme. Now, if I go down to skin and smell it, it's significantly more synthetic smelling than the Viktor & Rolf is, but in the air, very, very close to Spice Bomb Extreme. Killer performer too. I'm talking like easily 8 to 10 hours on me. Really great pickup from Fragrance World. All right, this next one. This one is a clone of ombre leather with a touch of Tuscan leather in there. I like this fragrance profile more than I like either of the Tom Fords. I'll tell you why. This is the original Ben Sherman Signature the ultimate cheapy pickup. I got this for $5, probably the best $5 fragrance I've ever purchased in my life. It was on clearance, maybe damaged box or something from Burlington Coat Factory. But it's usually $10 if you can find it at the rack stores, maybe $15 if you find it on a discounter. It's basically ombre leather with a little more sweetness and a little bit of fruitiness in the opening, tying it more to Tuscan leather. But I like that extra sweetness. I like that touch of fruitiness. This one right here is a banger if you can find it. $10, great pickup. Okay, this next one, this is probably still my favorite Maison Alhambra fragrance. It's a clone of my favorite Tom Ford fragrance, Tobacco Vanille. This is Tobacco Touch by Maison Alhambra. This is gorgeous, rich vanilla. I mean, like a rich, dark vanilla. Not too far off from the rich vanilla you get in Cassius. But then it's got just a bomb of spice. Cinnamon, black pepper, clove, like a very textury spiciness. And then, of course, you've got that rich tobacco kind of tying it all together, almost a touch smoky. Almost reminds me like it's got rum or something in it, just a touch. Very complex, gorgeous, sweet, spicy fragrance. Absolutely love this stuff. And if it is indeed discontinued, I'm going to have to pick up another bottle while they're still around. Okay, this next one is from Fragrance World again. I've got maybe only one more from Fragrance World here, but they've been killing it this year. This one is a clone of Armani Stronger With You Absolute. This is called Proud of You Absolutely. And as soon as you spray it, you know exactly, well, you know for certain that it's a Stronger With You clone, one of the flankers. And there is a discernible booziness in this fragrance that, of course, lets you know that it's actually a clone of Absolutely. It's got that sweet, warm, ambery, vanillic quality with that chestnut, you know, letting you know what it's cloning. And then it's got that booziness, not only in the opening, the boozy quality really stays all the way through. And I get good performance out of this. This is easily an 8-hour fragrance. I'll even spray it on at night sometimes, kind of my evening scent, and I'll wake up 10 hours later and I can still smell it. Proud of You Absolute by Fragrance World. Okay, this next one, this is an Haramain fragrance, and I've seen this for $22, $24 on Amazon. It's usually always under $30 now, fragrance by different places. This is a steal. It's an amazing clone of Parfums de Marly Layton. Of course, I'm talking about Detour Noir. And this is that gorgeous, you know, apple, cinnamon, vanilla, rich, you know, kind of fuzzy sweetness. It's got a touch of that menthol quality. There is certainly a texture and a very discernible quality. You know, the notes are a little more defined in the Parfums de Marly. I mean, it's a fragrance that costs 10 times as much as this one. That's to be understood. But this is a very long-lasting, I'm talking 10-hour fragrance on me, and it's super close to Layton. Highly, highly recommend this one. I know there's others, and there might be better ones now, but for $24, you can't get a better clone of Layton. I think, you know, what I've smelled for $40, you can't get a better clone of Layton. Okay, this next one, this is actually my scent of the day today. This is probably my favorite of the exclusive The One flankers, Dolce & Gabbana The One exclusive flankers. This is a clone of my favorite Luminous Night. This is Fragrance World The One and Only Moonlit Night. And what you get with this one is, in the opening especially, very sweet, gooey dates. You know, a lot of sweetness, kind of vanillic, but also kind of gourmand. And then you get a very interesting incense that reminds you of frankincense, or that sort of resinous, you know, almost soapy kind of incense. I'm talking about real frankincense. That's what it smells like. Then you've got a little bit of woodsiness. You've got a touch of spice, or a touch of aromatics, I should say. Very excellent fragrance. Good performer, you know, easily 7-8 hour fragrance. I have had, whenever I first got it, some 10+ hour experiences with it. but now it's consistently, I can say, a 7 or 8 hour fragrance. Okay, next, this one is a clone of, I'm moving into some fresher fragrances now for these last ones. This one is a clone of a blue fragrance, kind of the blue fragrance, Dior Sauvage. This one's right in between kind of the EDP and the EDT, and it's a great fragrance from Armaf, the pride of Armaf. I mean, you immediately know when you spray it on, this is Dior Sauvage. The EDT of Sauvage is a little more, blow your head off intense in the opening. The EDP is smoothed out a little in the opening. This one is smoothed out in the opening like the EDP. And then for the rest of the fragrance, it's like the EDT. If you can find this for $30 or less, I don't think you need Dior Sauvage. I personally still love Sauvage. I think it's a great fragrance. Okay, this next one is another clone of a Parfums de Marly gem. It's a gorgeous, fresh fragrance. I'm talking about Parfums de Marly Sedley. And this one is basically juicy citrus and mint in the opening. It reminds you of like an iced, refreshing citrus beverage with a sprig of mint. But then in the dry down, it goes into some spiciness, like a little bit of warm spiciness. So it's a clone of Sedley. This is LFA Mahir Legacy. It's pretty close to Sedley, especially in the opening and the mid. The difference is this one's got a little more of that spicy quality than Sedley does. It's there in Sedley, but in this one, it becomes a major player for the second half of the fragrance. I like that, though. Makes it very versatile. You can wear this in the winter, the fall, but it definitely shines in the summer and the spring. It's really a blue fragrance with niche sensibilities. And again, you can get this for so cheap, like 25 bucks or something like that. All right, these next two are ultra cheapies. I mean, these are ridiculous cheap. I got this first one for $5 at Walmart because it was on clearance. It's normally a $10 fragrance, and it's worth every penny of 10. It'd be worth $20 because it's a very good clone of Yves Saint Laurent YEDP. Now, some say it's a clone of Y, the new EDT, but I haven't smelled that one. But to me, it's super, super close to the EDP, and I have several other clones of the EDP. This one is the best as far as fragrance profile goes. This is Classic Match by Parfums Belcam. And so this one, you can see how much I've used of this. That's very unusual. I got this summer, and I've just worn the heck out of it. It's got that sweet, apple, sage, geranium, that herbaceous kind of heart in the middle, but also that sweet apple. You've got that, I think there's tonka bean sweetness in here as well. Absolutely gorgeous. I love this fragrance because I love YEDP. And if you can get it for 10 bucks, I believe you'll be very happy. And finally, this one is a clone of Acqua di Gio Profondo. It's not super close because Profondo has like a wet rocks mineral note. This one doesn't have that, but as a cheap blue fragrance, this is a gorgeous fragrance. It's a sweet, aromatic blue fragrance. I'm talking about Geo Blue by Parfums Belcam, another $10 fragrance. Look how much I've used of it. Again, I got this one, I think, over the summer, and I just wore the heck out of it. Super cheap. Does not smell cheap, though. It smells somewhere in between Roche's L'Homme and like Dylan Blue. There's qualities of both of those kind of mashed together. So it's not super accurate to Profondo, but it's a gorgeous, sweet, aromatic blue fragrance. Super cheap. Throw it in the gym bag. Throw it in the car. Geo Blue. Fantastic pickup. So that has been 12. These are really good, inexpensive clones of awesome, expensive fragrances. Let me know down in the comments what you'd add to the list. And remember to subscribe if you haven't done that. We got videos coming out every couple weeks, and I hope you'll join us. I'm Justin. This is Sillage Scents.